Howdy folks, today I want to talk about something that is kind of new to us anyways, but it seems to be a really good handgun from what I've seen. It is the Canik TP9. This is the SF Elite version. Alright, we're going to go through this and look at some of the high points of it. But first, before you even look at that, you see I have my little safety flag here in that the firearm is empty. Alright, there's no magazine in it. But I want to show you a couple things that comes with it as far as the packaging goes. Open the box, good little hard case here. I can get it, well, yeah, I'll get it open. All right. We're taking some of the stuff out of it here. We've got our typical trigger lock, another one of the back straps. We can change the back strap out for different size hands. Your typical instruction manual that comes with it. And also with this one, we have a little warning card here as far as taking the gun apart and putting it back together on field stripping for the slide. Because this is the Elite version, this is a little bit different than the standard models. So we're going to take a look at that right quick. All right, and let's set this mess back in the box, get it out of the way. It comes with one 15-round magazine. Okay, we have that mag here. Okay. Now, as far as this firearm goes, let's take a look at it here, get that out of the way. In the first impression, it is a very well made gun, I'd say. From what I've seen so far, I've got a large capacity and a reasonably sized grip with a 15-round mag. It is, I see, ambidextrous controls for the slide release, the slide lock, latches on both sides of it. I like that idea. And also your magazine release is reversible. So a little bit of finagling on the inside here with the spring and the latch. You can reverse your mag catch. So that's always a good plus for the left-hand folks. Works out well that way. And here we take a look at the sights. We have a U-notch on the back. No white dots available on this side, at least from the factory. But you have a pretty good fiber optic front sight that I believe will be good bright orange red in the daylight. So that'll work for me. We have serrations on the front and the back. So typically most folks would probably use the back one, but if you're one of those folks that enjoys being able to grab the front of the slide, you do have serrations on the front of this one. All right, makes it nice for you. Also see some good texturing at key points. The grip has a mild flavored, I'd say, texturing on the side. And other than that, you have a little bit of a texture on the side of the receiver here, or side of the framework, where most folks will probably put their thumb on their support hand, if you're right-handed at least. So that's a good little thing to pay attention to. Also, we have a Picatinny rail for your accessories, or flashlight or laser, and or both. Would fit nicely right there. All right. And I see it a little bit, if you look under the trigger guard, this is something also to pay attention to with most any handgun, but especially if you're going to use it for, comfort at the range and be able to control it better. If you look at the undercut slightly on the back of the trigger guard right here, it gets your hand slightly up higher on the firearm, which helps you control the recoil better. All right. I see we have a striker indicator here on the back of it. You see the red tip that tells us that the striker is cocked in this case. And also, if we look at the top of the frame, we have a loaded cartridge indicator. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to put a couple dummy rounds in the magazine here, a little snap cap, and we'll show you what that looks like as we load the magazine. And we'll close the slide. Now you can see the gun is cocked by the little red striker indicator on the back. And also, if you look at the top, our loaded chamber indicator is sticking up. And if you look real close, you can see a tiny little red dot right at the very top edge of the frame. So that tells us that the cartridge is loaded in the chamber. It's a good feature to pay attention to also. Go ahead and kick these out. Oh, well, that will hit the floor. All right. You know what I should do probably is do a trigger pull test. Let's stick we'll stick the mag back or cartridge back in it. Close it down. Let's do a trigger pull test to see what it looks like. Because I have not dealt with these guns yet, other than to clean a couple of them. Customers have. And let's do a little pull test here and see what it shows right out of the box from the factory. That's pretty cool. 4 3/4 pounds. So that's good for this kind of gun, I believe. Like that, and to feel of the trigger, if I feel how I got a little bit of a take up on it, which is stay there, which is to be expected to some degree. But as we get back to hit the wall, as I would call it, where the trigger is actually making contact, very slight pull, and it's a good solid pull. It's not a lot of resistance. So I don't feel spongy. It feels good and crisp. As far as that goes, we've held the trigger now. I want to show you what a reset looks like. As we hold the trigger after it's been fired, we cock the action again. Let the trigger go a little bit, and it's very short take up. But that is sweet. I like that idea. A lot of guns similar to this have a very long take up on the trigger for your follow-up shots. This is, to me, will be superior to that kind of situation. All right, let's take a look at how we take it apart now. On this model, we have a couple of tabs here on the side of the frame. You'll see the little tab right there on the frame here, similar to a lot of other firearms made that way. Glock is probably the most popular that has this type of takedown device. However, different than the Glock, we have a cutout right here where it fits onto the slide, or the slide fits onto the frame rather. So with this firearm, we do have to always double check, make sure the chamber is empty. You will have to pull the trigger, release the hammer, release the striker in this case. Pull back slightly on the slide, pull down on your release button, put it forward, slide forward, just about an inch is all it takes. In this case, you roll it over to the side and lift it right off. Okay, you don't have to come all the way off the front of it like a lot of other guns are. So that's a really neat idea. Like that. So far we're liking what we see here. All right, let's take our recoil spring out. Push that forward a little bit. And here we have a captured recoil spring. Always a good idea also. And let's see a stainless steel end plate on it and a stainless steel spring. Very good idea. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but these are imported through Vermont as far as the U.S. goes, but are made in Turkey. And Turkey has been making some really good guns of recent years. This, I believe, is another one for the price point. We take our barrel out, and we now have our slide field stripped. We typically would come along here with our usual cleaning solvents and make sure we cover all the areas that are typical of getting powder and the copper and lead residue built up, especially on the face of the bolt here, along the tracks of your slide. Same thing with your barrel. Let the solvent sit a few minutes, and if you shot a lot, you have possibly copper and or lead fouling in your barrel or any of the faces on your chamber, make sure you let that suck a few minutes. You could have a need to scrub it with a brass brush and then follow it up with with a clean patch, get all the crud off of it. Same thing with your framework. And with the slide off, we can expose a whole lot of the mechanical parts of this gun. And what I would do typically is, what we do here anyways, would be just to set the whole thing in an ultrasonic tank. And ultrasonic, let that take care of it and get a lot of places cleaned out that you probably wouldn't get to otherwise with a typical patch or even a toothbrush kind of thing. But that being the case, we'll do that. We'll make sure we have any carbon and crud off of it. Then you'll get it dry and come back with a little bit of lubrication on all the friction points. Right. You don't want to, again, don't puddle this up. With any firearm as far as that goes, you don't want to have oil puddled on it because it just gives you a spot where dirt can accumulate and stick to it. You just need a thin film of lubrication, and if you use a good quality lubrication product, preferably synthetic in my opinion, that you'll be much better off in the long run. All right, now that being the case, let's put it back together. Slip our barrel back in to the frame as you in the typical manner. Forward a little bit, pull it back, lock it into the slide. We'll push our spring forward, make sure that the end of our spring, base of our spring is down into the recess on the barrel, and just round it for that. Putting this back on, you don't have to come here looking for the end of it and try to slide it all the way down, okay? You see that the notch is on the side of the frame right here. You have a notch cut out here, and that's going to line up with the I guess you call it a lug on the frame. As long as you line up that with the lug, you roll it over just a little bit, kind of line this up. If I can see what, I don't know if the camera can see this really good, but I'm going to line up that notch with my lug on the framework. And we'll roll it over. All right, pull this back, and it's locked in place. All right, just that easy. Okay. So anyway, here we go. She's put that together, ready to go to work. Stick our mag in it, and that's our first look, at least, at this Canik 1 series, and this being your TP9 SF Elite model. All right. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching us. If we can help you out with something, give us a call, Maverick Gunworks.